couple of days ago, I uploaded a video where I holidayed Football Manager 100 years into the future and showed you what happened. If you haven't seen that video yet, you can see that here. But I mean, I never know when enough is enough. So I just kept holidaying it. We've now gone 200 years into the future. And now we're going to have another look to see what's happened in FM21, 200 years in the future. Hello folks, welcome back to another FM21 video here on the channel. I'm Kev, and in this video, we jump in a time machine and go 200 years into the future to explore the impact it's had on the game. What clubs have thrived, which ones maybe haven't survived. I think they all survive. I think they have to survive in the game. I just wanted to say that because it rhymed. If the idea of this video appeals to you, make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on the video as well to let me know you want to see more of this kind of thing. The further we get into the holidaying, the harder my computer finds it to get it done in any kind of reasonable time. So if you want me to keep on going, I'm going to need to see a big old chunk of likes on this video. To go, if we push on to 500 years in the future, it's a big ask. So I'm going to give you a big ask in return, 3,000 likes. If we get there, I will try and push my computer to 500 years in the future. I have no idea how long it's going to take. It took twice as long for me to get to 200 as it did to get to 100. If that continues, I might end up melting my computer, which would be bad. If you're not already, though, make sure you subscribe to the channel. That's the thumbs up symbol. Subscribe to the channel, though. Turn your notifications on. I do make daily Football Manager videos. I've got a beta save on FM21 with Leicester at the moment, which is a lot of fun. Plus, I'm doing a lot of these little bonus videos at the moment as well while the game is in its launch period, just to show you some of the other cool stuff that can be done in FM. And if I've missed your team out, let me know. Over on Twitch, I stream on Twitch pretty much every night at the moment. I'm not against taking one of our nights over on Twitch and loading up this database and just going through it together so that we can pick up any teams that we may have missed out. So if you want to come over to Twitch and ask for that, if enough people ask, we can do that as a stream over the course of the next week or so. So let's get into the database. Let's see what's going on. And just like when we went 100 years in the future, we're going to start with the World Cup and see if England and Scotland and Wales and Northern Ireland continue to dominate it, because as you'll know from the previous video, in order to get this holiday so quickly, I have only got England loaded, because if I loaded loads of nations, it would have taken weeks to get to this point based on when I've tried to do it in the past. I've never gone 200 years in the future before because I've never had a powerful enough computer to be able to do it in a reasonable amount of time. But even this time, it was only with England loaded. So we did the first 100 years in the last video. So we're going to pick things up from 21-22. And it looks like Holland emerged as the dominant team for a couple of years, but then England back on it again. England, France, England, Belgium, Italy. We're looking for any non-European team because that was the big thing we noticed in the last episode. Even though we've only got England loaded, that because there's so many other European players playing in England, and the other European teams got a boost as well. But there's been no sign of Brazil, Argentina, nothing. 200 years of no Brazil winning the World Cup. What a sad universe the people of 2220 live in. Not only is there no Kev in their future, there's no Brazil winning the World Cup. It's just like, I think back 200 years. Imagine if Brazil hadn't won the World Cup in the last 200 years. It's mad. But yeah, lots and lots of England. If we look at the records, most times won. 200 years in the future, England have won the World Cup 20 times. That's ridiculous. That frankly, utterly ridiculous. Let's have a look at the Euros. So I think it's called the European, but I need to get the real name fix on, but I'm not going to fiddle with it until the beta's done. I don't want to break it for the beta. Past winners again. So starting from 21-20, where, believe it or not, England won the Euros. Holland again. Holland had a spell there where they won World Cup, Euros, World Cup in 3 consecutive tournaments. A very dominant Dutch team, 100-ish years in the future. But then it just settles into the rotation around the same old clubs. Denmark seeming to get involved in quite a few wins. There's a Denmark there. So that's four Denmark Euros wins. How many did they get in the previous 100 years? None. So Denmark, you've got a quiet 100 years coming up, but then the next 100 years, you're pretty competitive. It looks like it does go in waves who the dominant nations are as well. So we had the Dutch domination. Then we've gone into Turkey being very good for a little while. So Turkey winning 3 out of 5 Euros. Spain then win 3 in a row. The usual suspects of England and Holland get back involved. Then Italy win 3 in a row. Who are our most times winners? So Spain, most times winners with 12 wins for Spain. Obviously, it's not just over the last 200 years. That's over the course of all history, I think. Record is only... Oh, maybe it's not. No, it is. It's the ones with the star that are the ones that are only valid from the start of the game. Okay, that makes sense. So, off to the Premier League. And this is where, again, we're looking for any weird anomalies. As much as we're looking for which teams have been winning it a lot, I kind of want to see teams in there that I don't expect to see. Like straight away, Fleetwood in 200 years' time are a Premier League team. We're also looking for any teams that should be there that aren't. On the 100 years in the future one, loads of comments saying, Kev, I can't see Newcastle anywhere. Well, Newcastle are definitely still in there. I don't know if they maybe fell out of it and came back in. So the last video was then. Oh, that's now. Hold on. I've come back too far. So 100 years is around here. So Newcastle were in the Championship in the last video. And then have sort of bounced back and forth between Premier League and Championship ever since. So yeah, Newcastle haven't disappeared out of the realms of football history, but Bromley are there in the Premier League in 200 years' time. So looks like they've been there a while as well. It's been a very slow increase from Bromley, who, if we go back to the present day, it is just 200 years of very slow and steady. They go from the National League, where they stay for like 30 years. Then we'll have 10 years in League Two, and then years and years, like 30, 40 years in League One, and then another 10 years in the Championship. And then all the while, so a lot of bouncing back and forth between League One and the Championship, all the way back down to League Two there. So they did have a dodgy spell. But then once they got up and running again, oh no, they're back in League Two again there. But then they hit the Championship in 2175. And from then, that's like 20, 25 years. And then Premier League, and they're pretty much a Premier League team forever now. Bromley, big team. And the fact that we've got Bromley and Fleetwood and Millwall in the Premier League means there are going to be some Premier League teams who've fallen down the pyramid as well. And we'll look at the past winners in a second. It looks like Sheffield United, utter dominance at the moment. What has gone on at Sheffield United? They've now, how many times have they won the Premier League? 19 times Premier League winners, Sheffield United. How are you liking that, Sheffield United fans? That's quite the turnaround, isn't it? That'll do. Never won the Champions League, though. You win the Premier League 19 times, but never win the Champions League. That is a surprise, actually. I'm not really sure how they've managed that. But yeah, they've been in the Premier League. Sheffield United. I've got some good news for you. You've obviously recently celebrated your return to the Premier League. Very happy to finish mid-table that season as well. You don't need to worry. You're going to be in the Premier League for the next 200 years. And not only that, you're going to win it. Loads. You're never going to win the Champions League, but I think that's a deal you'll make. Sheffield United not going to be relegated for the next 200 years. For context, we saw in the last video, Manchester United have been relegated in that time. They got relegated, so you're bigger than them, basically. They've only won the Premier League 43 times. So actually, that's a really low turn. How many have they won it in real life? They've only won it like 12 times in that 200-year period. As much as I had some good news for the Sheffield United fans, Man United fans, I know you're not happy in real life at the moment, but it ain't getting much better for the next 200 years, looking at that. Who else have we got? Forest finally making it back into the Premier League. Oldham, Portsmouth, both Sheffield clubs still there. Sunderland firmly established back in the Premier League again. Let's look at the past winners. So what a century for Sheffield. So we've currently got the Sheffield United dominance, which Sheffield Wednesday are the runners up most times. Sheffield is like the capital of football 200 years in the future. Congratulations, Sheffield. basically, if you're not in Sheffield, Manchester or London, you may as well give up. Let's try and find a club not in Sheffield, Manchester or London. Bournemouth, finishing second 10 years ago, were the last team outside one of those three cities to finish in the top three in the Premier League. That is ridiculous. Liverpool, Everton, what have you done with your lives? Newcastle, where are Liverpool even in the Premier League? Liverpool are not in the Premier League, children. We'll find Liverpool in a minute, but Liverpool are not in the Premier League 200 years in the future. Sheffield Wednesday, I mean, this is ridiculous. They've won the Premier League 26 times. Similar to their City counterparts, though, still not won the Champions League. So you can guarantee those Liverpool fans not in the Premier League anymore. They're still showing their little tattoos with their stars on to the Sheffield Wednesday and the Sheffield United fans, saying, yeah, you may have won the Premier League 50 times between you. We've won the Champions League 6 times. Who's the real winners here? That was 200 years ago. Who's the real winners here? Bournemouth look like they've had a lovely time. Hadn't Bournemouth got relegated way down in the last video? Have they had some kind of resurgence? I'm sure Bournemouth were way off the... No, in fact, they're not. So Bournemouth, although they've had a little wobble in real life recently, you're coming straight back up and you're pretty much going to be a Premier League team forever now, and you're going to win it multiple times. Bournemouth with the 7 Premier League titles. Again, who's been winning the Champions League while all these teams have been winning the Premier League? What has gone on there? Because what we found in the 100 years in the future video is English football just dominated everything, but it looks like that's maybe not the case in this second century of holidaying forward. Lots more Bournemouth, Sheffield United. They're kind of the big 3 in this future. In fact, we can click on England and see who is considered the highest reputation clubs. But Chelsea with another long spell of dominance. Norwich are in there as well. What do we click to do what I'm trying to do? I think if you go to England, you can see have I broken it? I mean, we are 200 years in the future. It's a bit of a risk pressing these buttons. So the major clubs in England, 200 years in the future: Sheffield United, Sheffield Wednesday, then Man City, Chelsea, Man United, Tottenham. So Bournemouth have fallen off a little bit since their period of dominance. But yeah, where are Liverpool? Let's go find them, shall we? Are they in the Championship? There they are. They're in the Championship. How long have they been? I mean, they're only a 3-star reputation club. So this isn't a temporary blip that's left Liverpool in the Championship. Oh, my word. Liverpool are basically like the Nottingham Forest of the future. They had their nice 100 years of being in the Premier League, but then 21-38, they got relegated, and they've never really re-established themselves in the Premier League 80 years later. They're less of a Forest and more of like a Bolton or a Blackpool. We used to be good 80 years ago. All right, Liverpool, we believe you. No, there's no one alive who remembers it, though. They've had the odd little flirtation, but that's it. Did they add to their Champions League wins? So 10 Champions League wins. You can guarantee Sheffield Wednesday have now won the Premier League more times than Liverpool, but you can guarantee there's Liverpool fans still out there with their 10 stars. Shut up, Sheffield. That's my best Scouse accent. So who else have we got in the Championship? Any major surprises in here? Chester were there or thereabouts last time. There's nothing majorly odd about this. Welling have kind of come from nowhere. Is that a recent thing? Kinda. In the last video, Welling was still down in the Vanarama South, so they've been a story of success over the last 100 years. Gradually winding their way up into the Championship. It looks like they may be not much longer for the Championship, although they have flirted with the Premier League, getting into the playoffs a couple of years ago. No Premier League finish for them, but they seem to be getting better all the time. League One, we're looking for big clubs that have fallen. I'm not really sure who we might see. As a Peterborough fan, I'm also looking for Posh, but I haven't seen this yet. It's painful to see Cambridge and Milton Keynes Dons in a higher division than Peterborough are. That troubles me massively. Harrogate and Leeds in the same league as each other. Leeds only a 2.5-star team. Harrogate, a 2.5-star team. Leeds potentially not even the biggest team in Leeds anymore. Oh dear. Oh, that's been miserable for Leeds fans. Leeds dropped into non-league for a little while. Wow. Oh, Leeds. You're still a big club, though. Don't worry. You're still a big club. Slough up there as well. Watford, which I said in the last video, such a surprise because Football Manager sponsor them, and for Watford to be so rubbish. Repeated trips down into the conference. They're probably quite happy being in League One at the moment. There's no one alive who remembers Watford as a Premier League club. It's 115 years since Watford were in the Premier League. Wow. Who says Watford are overpowered in FM? League Two, we still haven't found people. We weren't in the Championship, were we? Where are Posh? What's happening here? This video might never see the light of day. I might be about to abandon it. Dulwich Hamlet, who were in the Premier League in the last video, I think, have now fallen back down again. Or maybe they weren't. They made it up to the Championship. They're now back down to League Two. I'm worried that I can't find Peterborough. It's stressing me out. I'll level with you. Middlesbrough fans are probably also not particularly happy. Where on earth have Peterborough gone? We're in the conference. A one-star reputation team. All that mocking of Liverpool and Leeds has come back to bite me. We've not been in the Football League for 20 years. We did get a run in the Championship though, so you know that's the longest run in the Championship in our history. I'll take that. I'm unlikely to live 200 years. Well, sad future for Posh. Any other big clubs? Any other big clubs? He says. I found Peterborough. Are there any other big clubs in non-league? Not in that division. I'm surprised that there hasn't been more of a... There's not been like a single club that's utterly collapsed. Good to see Northampton down in Tier 6. That's pleasing for me as a Posh fan. But no, there's no... I would have thought, bearing in mind, if you look at the Premier League, I'm a little bit disappointed because if you look at the Premier League, to have Bromley in the Premier League, you sit here dreaming, so if Bromley are in the Premier League, who from the Premier League has tumbled all the way down? Nobody is the answer. I mean, the biggest name in that Tier 6 setup, if we look through, the biggest club down here, it might even be Northampton. Which, I mean, you wouldn't be that surprised to see him there in 5 years. Never mind 200 years. Torquay, maybe? No, Northampton are bigger than Torquay, aren't they? Well, that's a little bit... It shows how much money talks in Football Manager. If you're a club that have got money, even 200 years later, you still can't do that badly. Right, Champions League then. So picking up where we left off last time, we want to see who's been winning it. If the Sheffield clubs haven't been, despite dominating England, who on earth has been? Barcelona in there of a few. Zenit continuing to be a good side. Any big surprises in here? I want to see a ridiculous Maribor off of the Slovenian First Division. With their Sheffield Wednesday and Sheffield United have not won the Champions League. Maribor have won the Champions League. Wow. Malmo in there as well. Partizan. Several for Partizan, in fact. Shakhtar. Aberdeen. Aberdeen, multiple-time Champions League winners. 2-time Champions League winners, Aberdeen. What a future you've got to look forward to in Aberdeen. Lovely stuff. Anyone else surprising? Not really. Rosenborg, maybe, is a little bit unexpected. Is that their first one? Yeah, 1-time Champions League. So if you're a Rosenborg fan, you've only got to wait 196 years for your first Champions League win. I think it's worth the wait, to be honest. I think you'll still be pretty happy when it happens. So despite 200 years passing, Real Madrid have still won the Champions League more times than anyone else, with 34 wins now. Lowest attendance. Is that my Apollon? Oh, bless their cotton socks. Lowest attendance is my Apollon Smyrnis. I love the fact they've made it into the Champions League. That's amazing. The 1 third place finish in the Greek Super League in 2196. They never signed Damien in this future. That's what's gone on there. But I love the fact that in 200 years of history, the lowest attendance in Champions League ever is my Apollon Smyrnis. that I have a real feeling of pride looking at that. Let's look at the Europa League as well to finish things off. In fact, we won't be finishing things off. We're going to look at the Ballon d'Or as well. In fact, what's the point of looking at the Ballon d'Or? They're all regens. We won't even bother with that this time. We'll just look at the Europa League, see if there's any big surprises in here. Zenit fascinate me. 190 Russian Premier League wins, 11 Champions Leagues, 6 Europa Leagues. Zenit St. Petersburg are like a major world superstar. They've won the Champions League more times than Liverpool ever. Well played, Zenit St. Petersburg. How does the Russian league compare to the other leagues? Where do you go to see the leagues ranked? There's a place you can go where they rank leagues. I don't remember where this place is, but we'll find it. We'll find it, or I'll never end this video. So, I'm looking for the Premier League, but it's called the Premier Division because they don't have the Premier League license, which is why I can't find it. See, detective work already paying off. Wow. Okay. So despite only having England loaded, the English Premier League is only the 30th highest reputation league in the world. That's why the English teams aren't winning anything. It's bizarre because England are dominating the World Cup, but the English Premier League has a lower reputation than all these other leagues. The biggest and best league in the world is the Danish Super League. And it's got there by having FC Copenhagen win it 70 consecutive times. That's made it the best league in the world. Ligue 1, Serie A, La Liga, none of them have dropped off massively. But weirdly, England and Denmark have just swapped place for the league situation. I'm surprised Russia aren't in here because of the way Zenit St. Petersburg have dominated the Champions League. The Russian Premier League is the 27th best league. I can't get my head around the fact the English Premier League is only 30th. So talk to me about FC Copenhagen. They've won the Champions League 4 times. What makes this the most reputable league in the world then? I don't get it. They're not winning anything. They're the only team there that ever even wins there. I don't understand. I think we've broken Football Manager, kids. Well, the Scottish Premiership is almost twice as good as the English Premier Division. And that, boys and girls, is where we're going to end the video. I can't cope. I can't cope. I don't want to do 500 years in the future. I don't know what's going to happen. It's all going to go even weirder. If you have enjoyed that video, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos, including my current beta save that's running with Leicester. That's out at 4 PM every day. I'm also streaming on Twitch every night at the moment during the beta, around 8 PM UK time, where I've got a save with my beloved Peterborough. And I've got some cool stuff planned for the full launch of the game as well. So make sure you subscribe, notifications on, and I'll see you again very soon. Thanks for watching, folks.